Hello and welcome to this video on the 2017 flu vaccine. It adds to the previous video on the nature of the flu and vaccines in general. The 2017 flu vaccine has been held by some as an example of how the flu vaccine does not work, but it is an outlier. In general, it decreases the longevity and severity of each episode and season. However, this was not the case. Last year, there was an exceptional case with greater symptoms and effect, despite widespread uptake. Each year, the flu kills 50,000 people. Some years are worse than others, and this video will help to explain the 2017 case. In context, 2007 swine flu infected 52,000 Australians, and this year, strains have infected 215,000 people in Australia. And that is exactly the type of strain that is coming for the Northern Hemisphere now. Let's begin with a short refresher on the flu. It is a family of viruses. These are generally grouped into two categories, A and B. The latter are stable with two groups that are generally similar from one year to the next. And then you have the former A group, a highly unstable strain which mutates rapidly from year to year. This includes the 2009 swine flu strain. These unstable strains remain in some form, giving the future strains a possibility of being even more virulent than previous strains. The question is, how then does the flu vaccine work? The short version is this. Each season, the next year is predicted based on patterns and complex modeling of data from the preceding season and years. The correct strains are then generally predicted, and a range of these are targeted in a mass-produced vaccine. This targets surface markers on the flu virus, and those are presented on the surface of cells that are infected by the virus. These markers are what give the flu strains their name, like H1N1. These are various and different. They are different targets and different types, the full details of which can be found in the video linked in the description below. Over the 6 or so months before the vaccine is publicly available, companies and governments begin to stockpile it for use. This makes adjusting the dose or strains incredibly difficult, if not impossible, based on such a long production schedule and storage practice. Unfortunately, even with such a complicated and thorough delivery system, not everyone responds well to the vaccine. It is common to see up to 40% of recipients not respond or receive benefit from the vaccine. This is unlike the 97% success rate for the measles vaccine. In 2017, this figure was even worse. It was between 5 and 19%, and 37% of recipients who were protected against type A and type B strains respectively. So why was there nearly a 50% reduction in efficacy? This plays back on the earlier mentioned production schedule. The flu strain from the preceding period was selected. It included the H3N2 strain, a highly unstable version of the virus. In this case, it changed substantially between selection date and usage date. This made the production schedule less effective overall. Some of the benefits were there, but a major target was missed. This also failed for a second, more important reason. The vaccine is made in a chicken egg. The cells are infected and the virus proliferates. Then the cells are liquefied and the virus is denatured. In this case, before that denaturation, the highly unstable strain mutated again. This mutation during production leads to a misalignment between the target in the lab, or at least the lab-based flu strain, and the wild strain that is infecting the public. This misalignment is the reason why the flu was ineffective as a prophylaxis, but not why the flu was so damaging. The reason for this comes down to the type of flu that came through unscathed. The B strain affects children more than the elderly. The B strain was accounted for in this vaccine. The A strain, however, is more harmful to the elderly. The elderly have a range of issues that leave them immunovulnerable. In this case, the severe case of flu, and its ideal target group being unusually vulnerable, led to greater illness and death than could have been anticipated. This is not an exclusive reason for the failure of the 2017 flu vaccine, but it is the mainstay of the cause. Other variables that deserve consideration and affect every year are the immune system variability between individuals, exposure and exposure risk, age, diet, and more. As a final note, it is school-aged children who carry and spread the flu most effectively. These plague carriers are an ideal target to stop the spread of the flu. Blocking the child vector for flu will drastically reduce its spread, and also its incubation, given that children are an ideal host with a relatively inactive immune system and a relatively healthy host, which allows for fast mutation of the flu strain. Vaccinating children will help considerably in reducing the flu's spread from year to year. Thank you for watching this video. Please post any comments, questions, or suggestions you may have below.